narcissists know what they're doing? Can they have a false perception of the world and still intentionally do harmful things? That's been the big question that has come up to a recent video that I've posted about narcissist perceptions and how out of line and out of touch they are, how they justify to themselves their terrible action. Does that mean that they know it's harmful to you? And why do they shift and act one way at work and a different way at home? Well, what we're talking about is a lot of different psychological concepts that are happening at the same time. I know I'm Dr. Carrie McAvoy and that I'm living in 2023, and right now I'm sitting in my bedroom. I'm oriented to time, place, and my person. But that doesn't mean that I'm not crazy. I could have hallucinations and delusions. I could be oriented to place, time, and person and still see giant rats running across my yard. I could still believe that the aliens run the White House. I used to work at a hospital where people were brought in by the police and they were completely out of touch and doing very strange things. And one of the men that I had worked with hadn't been on medication long enough and he was still hallucinating. And I'll never forget, he started laughing at something. And I said, "Are you hearing voices?" And he goes, "Yeah, I am." And I said, "What are they saying?" He goes, "Well, I can't tell you." He was hallucinating, but he knew that it was socially inappropriate and he wasn't going to tell me that. Can narcissistic people behave one way in the public and another way in private and still be out of touch about why they do what they do? Absolutely. So let's give an example. Say there's a narcissist who's cheating. This person knows that that's wrong, but they've justified that it's right in their mind, that they deserve it because life's not been fair, because their partner is not showing up the way that they want, because they don't feel satisfied. And so in their mind, it's right to do this. They believe that wholeheartedly. They'll still put on a good public face when they're out of the restaurant with their partner. Is that intentional? Absolutely. Does that mean that they're not still having a weird perception? Oh no, it doesn't mean that at all. They can still pull it together because they know that the reaction publicly will be bad. They have enough reality testing to know that that won't fly. Complete loss of reality testing would be running nude through the street believing you're Napoleon. They're ill, but not that ill. And narcissists, when it comes to delusional thought, is mildly delusional. They can't sit with themselves and own what they've done and own that they're a human being who's flawed and own that they need to take accountability for their terrible actions. But they're not so ill that they don't know how to pull it together and clean up their act when they're in public. I'm certainly not justifying bad behavior, and I'm not saying that they're a victim. They can intentionally be really shitty, but it doesn't mean they're thinking clearly. But just because they're thinking clearly doesn't mean they're not responsible or accountable. They are.